السلام عليكم.
اهلا، عن السلام ورحمه الله. هلا بروفيسور.
من وين انت معنا اليوم؟ المدينه
ان شاء الله من المدينه المنوره.
صليت الفجر في الجامع ولا في الدار؟
لا، في الجامع طبعا.
المسجد النبوي؟
لا، الشارع الرئيسي بيني وبين المسجد النبوي مغلق، فبمشي 17 كيلو عبين ما اقدر الف على الدائر الثاني.
يا الله
17 كيلو
يعني
كانت
بتروح
لا بروح. كانت المسافه صلى الله على سيدنا محمد 2 كيلو، صرت الان الف دائري كامل عشان اقدر افوت 17 كيلو.
طيب لما تروح اقرئ النبي منا السلام
ان شاء الله باذن الله.
نعم، كله زاهر بن زكيه يهديك السلام.
ان شاء الله. اللهم امين. ان شاء الله انكم تيجوا تعملوا عمره ان شاء الله ونشرف فيكم.
بدك تعزمنا، واكيد شغلات زي هيك، مش كده؟
هذا شيء مفروغ منه.
بركه يا باشمهندس، الله يرضى عليك.
الله يسعدك.
دكتور اسماعيل جاي؟ دكتور اكرم ولا كيف؟
الله يصبحكم بالخير يا بروفيسور. صبحكم بالخير يا استاذ بشار. دكتور اكرم دقيقه بكون معنا ان شاء الله.
جدول حافل اليوم دكتور اسماعيل، مش كده؟
اكيد، الله المستعان. ان شاء الله يكون كله يعدي على خير وسلام يا رب.
يا رب ان شاء الله. الله يكرمك.
دكتورة نهى معنا على المنصة، ننتظر بس لحظات تكون معنا على الكاميرا.
ايوه، شكرا حبيبي، شكرا. طفيت الموتور. جزاك الله خيرا، شكرا، بارك الله فيك يا حبيبي. دائما مغلبك انا. وطفيت الموتور الصغير يا عم، محترم انت، كثير 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 محترم. السلام. كب عم بيها بحطها في الثلاجة عادي، الله يرضى عليك. بيني وبينك البدلة في الحر.
دكتور اكرم، دكتوره نهى، اتمنى تكونوا سامعينا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياك الله دكتور، الله يصبحك بالخير.
مرحبا، صباح الخيرات للجميع.
الله يسعدها الصباح.
السلام عليكم، يعطيكم العافية.
مرحبا. السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حياكم الله جميعا. اهلين دكتوره نهى، اهلين دكتور اكرم.
اسفه جدا على التاخير، بس يعني
الله يخليك، الله يعطيك العافيه. فرق التوقيت عندك يا دكتور اكرم، معلش انت اللي يمكن بدري.
لا بسيطة يا دكتور، ان شاء الله بسيطة.
يلا حياك الله يا دكتور. يلا تفضل يا دكتور اسماعيل، جو هيد. بس ابدا التسجيل
بسم الله. Start recording.
ان شاء الله. شكرا لك يلا سيدي. روح شرب.
Alright. So, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to a new session in this discussion for comprehensive examination 2 research papers for our doctorate programs students. And first of all, allow me to welcome and introduce our respected professors. Here with us, Professor Zahir Kyle. He is the head of the committee for this discussion. And also, Professor Kyle is the director of the programs of the International American University in the Middle East. And Professor Kyle had his PhD from Salford University in UK in civil engineering since 1989, and he became a full professor in 2002. He used to establish and be a president for 2 universities, and he had a lot of achievements in the fields of engineering and education and management, and he is considered as an expert, international expert in engineering and in management and education. You are welcome, Professor Kyle.
Thank you.
And with us, the committee members, Dr. Nuha Nijem. You are welcome, Dr. Nuha. Dr. Nuha Nijem is an assistant professor of economics at Al-Azhar University in Gaza, majoring in applied economics and related research interests. In addition to her 17 years of teaching experience at Palestinian universities, she worked as academic counselor and selection specialist for Academy for Educational Development and MEDist. Dr. Nijem is identified as a specialist in grants, impact evaluation, and planning of development projects for several international organizations. You are welcome, Dr. Nuha Nijem, and also Dr. Akram Samour, the committee member. Dr. Samour was awarded his PhD in strategic management from Bradford University in UK, and he worked as an assistant professor of business administration in different universities. Dr. Samour taught several courses and modules continuously in management, strategic management, and business administration for undergraduate and graduate programs. He worked with national and international organizations, governmental and non-governmental organizations, and he is an expert in strategic management. You are welcome, Dr. Akram Samour. And this
Thank you very
session,
much.
Yeah, well, you are welcome. This session, the discussion will be for our student Bashar Al-Awamla, and the discussion will be for 4 research. The student will allow to present his first paper within 10 minutes only, and then the discussion will start. Before we start the presentation, I will leave the floor to the Professor Zahir Kyle to control the discussion. Professor Kyle, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ismail. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Dr. Nuha. It's nice to see you this lovely morning. Welcome to see you, our dear colleague and friend, Dr. Akram from Ireland. I also welcome our energetic student, Bashar Al-Awamla. And we look forward to see something new and different and coherent this morning. I will start by asking Bashar to give us a 10 minutes presentation for each topic, each paper. After you deliver the first paper, the first 10 minutes, we will be discussing this paper with you. Then we'll move to the other one and to the other one and to the other one till we finish. Now, I think Dr. Ismail, do you have the presentation to upload for him?
Just a moment. Yeah. I'm uploading. It will take a while, but I will upload.
No problem. Till he starts, our strategy would be to look at your way, the contents that you have, the referencing that you have, the APA style that you followed. the critical thinking that you managed to use, the research layout that should be there. We are not, as we said always, in a comprehensive exam 2, we are not after a very long research. We are after a small research, but an ideal, a pilot research, which means that it has to contain all the components of the research, the research problem, the proper literature review, the gap analysis of the literature review, then the methodology that you are using, and an abstract if possible, then the analysis, the conclusion, the references, recommendations maybe, and so on. So I hope that you've achieved that, you've done it, and we'll see how it goes. This is a critical stage in the life of the doctorate degree is very important, because after that you'll be moving to your dissertation once you pass comprehensive exam 2. It's essential that you pass, because it's the foundation for the research methodology that you've used, that you've learned, that you've applied, that would enable you to do the dissertation in a proper way. Bashar, the floor is yours. It's 9:40. You have 20 minutes sharp. Go ahead. Bismillah. Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا المرسلين سيدنا محمد على آله وأصحابه أجمعين. I'm happy to speak in front of you. I will go directly because no time, I have enough time. The first topic, the role of geographic information system in developing strategic crisis management in Jordan. This is important topic for my opinion. Can I go to the second slide, or
they have the control?
Yes. Thank you. Okay. The content of the proposal, I will speak for problem statement, purpose of study, research objective, research questions, hypothesis, significance of study, limitation of study, literal review and research methodology, and the conclusion. The problem, the report prepared by Economic and Social Council of Jordan for year 2019 indicate what? Indicate that the Jordan is witness reflecting unprecedented level terms of size and type of crises. According to this problem, study reach showing ability of the decision maker in crisis management to develop a strategy based on accurate time divided by GIS. Before I digging on my topic, let's explain what GIS or Geographic Information System. My topic is concern or focus for GIS. GIS is a particular case of information system where the database consists of observation on specially distributed feature, activities, or events. These are defined as raster base and vector base, description that identifies space as points, line, and area. This scientific technology has spread widely and effectively in all aspects of ministries, governments, and private sector. Let's go our research objectives. This study aims to identify the possible role of GIS in developing strategic crisis management in Jordan. We have 5 objectives. First, study the current practice of crisis management in Jordan. Second, identify critical challenge in Jordan in crisis management. Identify practical challenge that can be addressed, improved by GIS. The fourth, study current GIS use the crisis management practice in Jordan. The final of my research objective, studying and analyzing the role of GIS, their mechanism in crisis management, and how to adapt in Jordan.
I have to stop.
This,
wait, Bashar, wait.
Yes.
We have two of my colleagues who are not aware of the GIS. Let me, in 1 minute, tell them what is GIS. One of my specialties, myself, is GIS. GIS is Geographic Information System. Very simple. It's everything on Earth has coordinates, X, Y, Z, latitude, longitude, altitude, خط طول وعرض. Now, once we have this information, we could put it to the computer. So we have these coordinates. Once we have this point on the computer, we put details on that thing on that coordinate. So if we have, say, my house on the coordinates X, Y, longitude and latitude, we'll say that the person who lives in that house is Zahir, his family is so and so, his property is so and so. So we build on that what we call features, database, attributes. Then it will be for the whole area. So if I want to ask who is living in that area, the GIS with its database will give me whatever is there. Show me on the map those people who are above 80 years old or 50 years old. It will show it in the map. For the crisis management, this is one way to apply the GIS database that we have, so that we can manipulate it, we can use it, so that we can manage the crisis. So there is a bit of engineering there, and then there is a bit of management there. I hope this clarifies the GIS issue. Does it, Dr. Akram? Is it okay?
For myself, just I still remember in regards to GIS, friends of our friend Dr. Abdul Karim Jouda Al-Ammari from Tunis.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Thank you.
One of the products of GIS.
It's clear. It's clear.
Yes, one of the products of GIS is the GPS that we use for navigation in the road.
Okay. Yes.
Go ahead,
Thank you
Bashar.
very much
But I have
for this clarification. Thank you.
Okay.
With my pleasure. Okay. My research question: what is the impact of geographic information system on effectiveness of crisis management in Jordan? This is the main question. Okay. Hypothesis. After I have I have read more 40 papers, but I selected 21 for this topic, my dissertation. The hypothesis I created, also I changed some of these, minimized and changed, but no problem. There is no statistically significant effect of employing GIS in developing a strategy for crisis management in Jordan. The second hypothesis, there is no impact of GIS in crisis management in Jordan. Third, there is no effect of the key GIS technology in crisis management in Jordan. The fourth, there is no effect of the key GIS technology that embed the use of GIS in crisis management. Dependent on these hypotheses, I analyze the literature review, but before that, significant of my study. What is significant? I have two ways to significant my study. Scientific significant, and the other side, practical benefit. The study represents a base for developing Jordan's national crisis management plan and improve understanding the computer strategies. Being one of the first study in Jordan, it's the first studies in Jordan, will play a significant role in adding new knowledge based to enrich the existing library. The third, this study will help to enrich the Arab community in general, especially crisis management specialists and researchers. The fourth, this will help future researchers to gain knowledge for long-time goals of improving crisis management in Jordan. On the other side, the practical benefit. It will definitely help Jordan decision maker to implement and utilize GIS in crisis management. Also help create GIS-based crisis management strategy for Jordan. Limitation. Because the government or institution used this GIS in Jordan and in crisis management, this not easy to access. Limitation in 3 categories: access GIS articles, Ministry of Interior, the National Center of Security and Crisis Management, the Directorate of Resource and Support in Public Security, the Information Technology Department of Civil Defense. To be honest, I visited the Ministry of Interior. I visited the National Center of Security and Crisis Management. I interview the managers and the officers there, and I also visited the Information Technology Department of Civil Defense. The another category is GIS. There has yet to be academic study in Jordan on the role, as I mentioned before, impact and effectiveness of geographic information system in crisis risk management. Articles, a few articles talk about crisis management in the world, Arab world. In the world, many articles, especially the Arab world, very few. In Jordan, يعني ما في. Literal review. After I read these papers, I put it in 3 categories. The effectiveness of the crisis management. They have 4th, crisis management change course, crisis handling strategy, crisis decision making, infographic theory, crisis strategy. About challenge in crisis management. Yes, they have a challenge in crisis management. Many topics written that JS supports JS support situational awareness, JS response time scientific natural of crisis, JS coordination with many organizations and disciplines. For the main factors that hinder or help that use in JS, they have also 4. As a category, JS framework, JS structure and data modeling, JS data sharing. Even data sharing, it should be new, not old. JS enabled command center. Okay. About research methodology. Dr. Akram, he give me advice for research methodology, and I edit my old topic for research methodology. The research methodology, what I used, explain methodology approach. We have 4 stages. Explain methodology approach. It depends research problem, case of effect relation, or type of data. Type of data, qualitative or quantitative or mixed. For my topic or my thesis, it will be mixed. 90% quantitative and 10% qualitative. After that, describe the method of the data collection. The data collection, we will use independent variable, dependent variable, dummy variable, numeric variable, ratio variable, description, qualitative variable. Okay. For description also, we for qualitative interview focus group. I will finish.
Speed. Increase your speed. You have 7 minutes.
Okay. Okay. For the survey, I will define the population and sample that I mentioned before, decided on type of survey, design the survey questions, distributed the survey and collection response. After that, I will talk about the limitation and the access. For my conclusion, the author believe 4 things. The GS have significant role in all phases of emergency planning and crisis management. The second, the GIS have integrated core of comprehensive preparedness response and recover system, or as sources of information that can be used. On site, real GIS can be integrated
Bashar,
to assigning.
excuse me, Bashar, you were talking
the
about
final sentence.
Wait, just wait, Bashar. You were talking about methodology, then you jumped to conclusion. Show us what you've done. Where is your research? What you have done? What you've analyzed? Where is your data?
Professor, this is the thesis and needed survey. It need many job. It need more 6 months to survey and the questionnaire and designing.
I was very clear. If the survey takes 6 months, you should have done it in 6 days in a small scale and tell us exactly what sort of data you have collected, and on that you will be selecting the rest. So at the end of the day, we have to see a small research completed on a small sample. We don't go for a comprehensive, representative, fully sample, but we know that you can do the research. So the actual research you did not do. This is what you've said.
Yes.
This is a proposal in front of us. It's
yes.
a semi-proposal,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
but have you,
yes,
okay, sincerely, have you ever heard from me that I want a proposal or a small research? What have I said during the comprehensive exam course several times? Do you remember that I said it's a small doctorate research? Have I said that or not?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, I leave the floor to my colleagues and to you. Finish in 2 minutes, and they will have the comments. Okay, go ahead.
After I have read all the papers, I found the gap. The gap is the need to understand the role GIS in decision support system to improve both crisis management and crisis leadership. That's all. This is a reference, what I read. Okay, only. I finished. Doctor, I finished.
Okay. I leave the floor to Dr. Akram and Dr. Noha. Whoever, sorry, Dr. Akram, ladies first. Go ahead, Dr. Noha.
She is welcome.
Oh, she's gone. She has a problem with her, I think, internet line. Go ahead, Dr. Akram.
So again, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be with you. Thanks, Prof. Zahir. Thanks, Dr. Ismail. And it's my pleasure to be also with Dr. Noha in this thesis defense. Thanks for the students, also Bashar, for his efforts, in particular in regards to undertaking the literature review. It seems for me that the researcher has done real efforts in regards to reading many papers related to the topic. But again, it was expected for us to see a small scale research. What does it mean? It means that the student collected the data in a small, let me say, size. For example, collected the data for 50 questionnaires, for 40 questionnaires, analyze the data, then discuss the findings, compare the results with the previous results. Unfortunately, we did not see this. I understand it's very heavy load because we are talking about 4 papers, but in the same time, I think it's very important in this stage, at least, to have a pilot study, عينة استطلاعية in Arabic, they say, and analyze the data collected and give us the results, discuss the results, compare the results with previous studies, and in the same time justified why you have got these results. If we can go back for the problem of the research, I can say that my expectation always when we talk about the problem of the research to talk about some statistics, to talk about maybe good, it will be very good to do few interviews with senior staff who are in charge in regards to the area you talk about, GIS and also crisis management, and also some citations. I think you presented some citations, but you did not provide statistics or even undertake interview with senior staff to illustrate the problem. Always when we talk about a problem, it doesn't mean that we have a real problem. Maybe there is a gap between what we have and what it should be in our plans. Also, I would like to say that please consider that research objectives reflect research questions, and both reflect the hypothesis. I'm repeating again, this is very important actually to consider that your research objectives reflect your research questions, and in the same time both are reflecting the research, or both reflect the research hypothesis. Also, I think you need, my friend, to do real efforts with proofreading. It's very important to present the full research after finishing everything for a proofreader. The proofreader will give you some valuable, let me say, touches in regard to the quality of the language. And I understand and respect what you have done today in regards to your English language, but I think you need more efforts to be done in regards to English language pronunciation and more. I appreciate that you actually did very good efforts, and appreciate that you achieved very excellent, let me say, achievement in regard to this, but you need more. Also, I advise to rewrite the hypothesis. In regard to the hypothesis, I think it's very important always to say that there is a relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable, and to mention, for example, when alpha equals or less 0.05, you can talk about this when you talk about relationships and when you talk about impact. And at least from my point of view, you need to talk about relationships and impact, at least as a PhD work. Furthermore, you said that there is no research about crisis management related to your topic in the Kingdom of Jordan. I would like also to say that this is very actually difficult to be said because at least you can say to the researcher knowledge, and some of our colleagues, honestly, academics, say that it's not good to say there is no research because you haven't seen everything. Furthermore, my friend, I would like to say that it's very important to recommend future suggestions for research. Also, it's very important to clarify the model you will use in your research. And also, I advise you, please do not talk about the future. This research should be done and you should talk about the past. I would like to say more, and I think these suggestions uh, can be implemented in all aspects of the four papers you have presented. Thanks, Dr. Zahir. Prof. Zahir, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Akram. Dr. Noha?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Professor. Actually, Dr. Akram said most of the comments I had, but I have a few left from my side. I just want Bashar to clearly state in his paper which crisis he's talking about. Because I didn't understand, is he talking about is he evaluating a certain crisis management that has been done during a certain crisis, or is he a planning or given some insights about a future strategic management for or a crisis management in case of a future crisis? So because the methodology which wasn't actually covered in an efficient or enough part, it doesn't state clearly what he's planning to do. So yeah, I didn't know which crisis management is he gonna study or cover in his research. So please do that. I didn't also know the difference between the regular management and the crisis management. It's not stated anywhere in the paper. So how would I know what changes to the regular management should be done in times of crisis? So I would identify that this is a crisis management and this is the regular management. I had a problem with the methodology that even if you didn't have enough time to do the actual measurement, at least you should give us an introduction about methodologies in the literature review, so we would know your choices of the different methodologies and which one would be applied to your country. So in this case, we would have a good background, and we would know that you have enough information, enough scientific information about the different methodologies, and all you need to do is to choose the most appropriate one to your case based on the data collected. Now, going to the data, you've mentioned that it's going to be minimized somewhere. So what do you mean by the minimized sample or minimal? Or how minimal is it? In the methodological limitations on page 24. The sample size the researcher is looking for is minimal. So how minimal? Because you know that the sample has to be representative. that's under the limitations. Anyways,
looking for the research element because the study for the group working is scientific field. Yes. If you allow me to answer you. Yeah.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yes, because Ministry of Interior or National Jordanian Crisis Management and Security, the people who work inside these institution for GIS is very few people. When I visited there, it's very few people. A small section unit, only small section unit. When I interview there, that I mean that the people whose work in GIS and crisis management, okay, or security is very few people in my country.
So why wouldn't you widen your sample, doing it on more than one sector or one organization?
Yeah, that reason I selected for institution in my country. Also my questions when I asked them interview personality. First of all, personality. I visited them because I am officer in Jordan. Okay, personality. When I visited them, the people who the managers not work in GIS. I didn't, or some of them he didn't understand what GIS in meaning. He understand the crisis management only.
Okay. So yeah, good luck with your data collection. So you're going for interviews, right?
Yes. I visited them.
Yeah, that should be stated clearly. It seems that you have spent some efforts that are not reflected in your paper. So please just reflect or write down whatever you've done to collect the data, the organizations that you've visited. Just add it to your paper. Okay. Just one last note. The word author is not used in such research. So referring to yourself or to other writers or researchers is usually done as the researcher, okay, but not the author. It's quite too early for us to be authors.
Okay. I am so
Inshallah,
sorry.
you will be in the future.
I am student. I am learning.
Inshallah, you will be there. Good luck again.
Okay, that's it.
I'm done, Professor.
All right, thank you. Okay, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Nahat. Dr. Akram, do you have a comment?
Actually, just I would like to confirm again for the researcher, please, my friend, where is the model? What are there any previous studies related to the topic you are talking about? Any internationally? Any study talked about the relationships between GIS and geographical information system and strategic crisis management? You should not be the first. Otherwise, if you are the first in the world, this is exploratory study. Just a minute. I'm going to give you the opportunity. I respect. If you are the first, then this study should be exploratory study, and you should clarify this. You should depend on a model related to the two variables, the independent variable, which is here the GIS, and the dependent variable, which is strategic crisis management. And again, as Dr. Nuha said, you should be specific. For example, you said in the objectives you are going to talk about the crisis management, strategic crisis management in Jordan. And I think you should talk about particular crisis management type. This is very important, my friend. Again, in regards to your research, always when we talk about any type of research, we talk about the basics. And from my point of view, basics are the strategy, sorry, the objectives of the research, the questions of the research, the hypothesis you have put, and this will depend on the previous studies you studied, you actually you had a look on. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Akram. Bashar, I have 3 minutes, but because this is my specialty, you have to watch the video in order to know what's going on. Now, when we talk about the crisis, we talk about seismic earthquakes, we talk about emergency in water supply, and power supply, and IT network, and in communication, and I would say water treatment, and so on. So my advice and direct to you is when you go to the foreign institutions, you ask them directly what are the crises that you might face within your within the ministry, within the institution. More the most involved body is the civil defense, الدفاع المدني. So you ask them what you do when there is a flood, when there is an earthquake, when there is an invasion, when there is an attack from another country. So war, I mean. So you put all these scenarios. This is one. At least I sent you to over the WhatsApp just 5 minutes ago, list of the crises that you might see. So we have the foreign institutions, and I prefer that if you go for one institution, it would be much better and easier, go for the civil defense, for example. And then the next step to do is to seek the 3 stages under any crisis: before a crisis, during a crisis, post a crisis. So there is, I have GIS works this way: there is pre-crisis, during a crisis, and after a crisis. Before earthquake, what we do, GIS will give us the solution and the most critical, depending on data for earthquakes for the last 30 years. And you have a very famous earthquake center in Jordan. They are monitoring the whole area in the Middle East for the earthquake and so on. And then during the crisis, if the earthquake with the Richter 8 hits the country, God forbidden, what would be the answer? And then post the crisis, after this damage has been done, what should be done? All of these are crises. All of these can be managed using GIS. Now I want you to push a new term in your title called DSS, Decision Support System. You are using the GIS to be a base for DSS, Decision Support System, to manage the crisis. As I agreed with my colleagues, you have to specify which crisis you are in, and then the stage that you are dealing, before, during, or after, and then you put the model on how to do it. GIS will give you the answer. You just make what we call, write it down please, decision tree. Decision tree, you do not get it from your brain, you get it from the people. What would you do? This is the answer. And I'm against the questionnaires. Leave this, it does not work here. A questionnaire is something okay in some researches, and it's poisonous in a research like this. It's poisonous. Don't use the questionnaires. Go to the people, ask them what you do exactly, draw a decision tree with them to different scenarios, different pre, during, and after, and then connect the GIS. The GIS is a database. How would you manipulate the data to give decisions? Decision for a crisis number 1 is 1, 2, 3. And I cannot agree more with Dr. Akram. You must look at the how they use crisis management. There are at least 100 models in the globe using how to use GIS, developing DSS in crisis management. I would give you some contacts for crisis management centers in the world so that you can use. One of them is your earthquake center in Amman, and the other one in Palestine here, the other one I think in Egypt. So, but at the end of the day, use this one. And by saying this, you have to go over to the video, take the comment, and read. Your research is very interesting, but please make it interesting, more interesting. It's very nice. and we want a small research. You go with one crisis, humbling, maskeen, and ask them, how would you do to the earthquake? How would you do with the flood if it hits Jordan? And then you write down what they do, convert it to a model, connect it to the GIS, and say what sort of decision tree should be done and when. When is the crisis? Pre, after. Now we are in peaceful, alhamdulillah, inshallah, we'll stay like this. We have to be prepared for the earthquake. We have to prepare for the return period of the flood. We have to prepare it. What should we do? The GIS will tell us what to do. Well, during the crisis, we are hit by, la samahullah, by an earthquake. The GIS will tell us under DSS what to do. I think we'll move now to the second paper. You have another 20 minutes for your presentation. Go ahead. Sorry, I've stopped the. If you have any extra question, Dr. Nuha or Dr. Akram, please do.
I would like to advise the student from my little experience in crisis management and strategic crisis management. Usually, the best to be used the scenario strategic planning. Scenarios strategic planning. So consider this in your research.
Yeah. Okay.
I will.
And have a reading on a reports or papers or textbook on the decision support system. Part of it is how to distinguish, how to prioritize your scenarios. You put 10 scenarios and then you go ahead. What if 1, 2, 3 happens? The answer will be this one. What if 5, 4 happens? The scenario is this and the action is this. Okay. I presume the first one is your dissertation work, isn't it?
Yes.
You will have your dissertation on this topic and the previous one, the GIS.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, it's a rich topic, but give us a small research, then you will expand it later. Okay, go ahead for the second one, reality dimensions. Go ahead.
Okay. The second topic, reality dimension of a smart city management. Here I use a review of literature. The content, problem statement, research goals, research questions, themes, methodology of research, reality dimension of the smart city management, indicator of sustainability in smart city transition, innovation management, and conclusion. I have here two types of the purpose. First, understanding the realistic dimension of smart city management. The second, the impact of dimension of sustainability indicators and knowledge management on smart city management. We have the two here. Our goals for determine the success factor for development of a smart city, focus on the role of innovation management in sustainability smart city. Third, understanding the realistic dimension of smart city management, the final influence of sustainability indicator and knowledge management of smart city management. We have 3 research questions. What are reality dimension of smart city? What are indicators of sustainability of knowledge management in the smart city? Third, what is the effective organization structure of smart city management?
Stop.
Our themes.
Stop.
Yes.
What is the smart city? What is the smart city?
What is the smart city?
Yes.
Smart city have dimension for smart life, smart mobility, smart economic, smart governance, smart government, smart economic, the people
When
share.
you say smart, what do you mean? What do you mean by the word smart? What do you mean by the word smart?
Smart mean communication, good communication, protocols, Internet of Things. This is smart decision making, smart leader, smart management. Smart mean good life.
You have an example of a city in your mind from literature. Did you come across a city that is smart in the world?
Actually, no.
No?
No. Dubai, يعني I visited 7 times Dubai. They have many things for many things to help people in his home or in their home. Can be done many things for tax, for bank, for transfer, for all government requirement.
Okay, continue. Okay.
Themes. A real dimension of the smart management, indicator of sustainability of knowledge management in smart city management, smart city transitions. It's so important to convert from traditional city to smart city. It need also innovation management. Methodology of the research. I have read 18 papers, but I selected 14 papers. Categorized these papers as a keyword and see the overlap between keywords and the relation between keywords and the other themes in the another topic. That helped me to put it to put the question research questions and my researcher themes and analysis for these themes. As you see, identification, 3 category: identification, selection of literary group. One thing of the reality dimension of the smart city management.
This is nice. What is the reference?
Many things, many topic, many things. Professor,
you do not own this collection. It is done by somebody or lots of people. So you have to write the reference.
Doctor,
or references. Okay.
Professor. In Word, everything I put it in reference. In presentation, how can I put it?
If it is there, no problem. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Okay. All right.
For example, Professor, smart economic, it come to 2 topic or 3 topic. Smart governance, also smart people. Everything is you cannot found in my reference. One reference have all of them, all of this. It's separated, but after I read and analysis and put it in the Excel sheet and find the relationship between everything, I put it these slides, the Professor.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Smart economic. First thing, innovation, entrepreneurship, job making. All of them. I will not follow everything. Need smart mobility, sustainability, transportation. For all of them, need smart people, inclusion in society and human capital development. It's not like that to convert even the people as smart. You need to human capital development, to how to use the technology and deal with that. Indicator of sustainability and knowledge management in smart city. Also, Professor and the doctors, my colleague, importance, development, and design. The indicator, I put it in three category: targeting settings, performance assessment. You should, after you put it target setting, you should performance assessment. Balanced sustainability solution need innovation management. For development, need improve accessible, encourage independency, and economic power. All of them need communication protocol and the judge for times optimization. All of them need data processing capacity. Smart city transition to reach smart city transition. They have five stage: tracking structure change through process, transforming an organization through surface-oriented structure, need to oriented structure, surface-oriented structure. We cannot do that without leadership through an innovation ecosystem, working together for incremental change, the end organization development. We need innovation management. Innovation management for the leadership. There are three main categories: support the top manager and commitment to organization. How? By transformation, recognizing, motivating innovators, change, creating objective. We also that need ensure the successful implement of smart city innovation by strong leader effectively social framework.
5 minutes. Be careful.
The conclusion. Okay, sir. Okay. My conclusion. The conclusion after the read all these papers. They have three categories: smart city architecture, smart city transition, the development arm of the smart city. For each one, this category, they have the main factor to reach this. I finished. I finished.
Okay, before the discussion starts, one of the options that we have put under this program is to have the research only on literature, getting the best out of the literature, summarize it, getting the conclusion out of it. When I saw the title, I saw, okay, it's a challenging title, because you have to get something new out of something without going into traditional, I would say, research plan. So I want to see, or I wanted to see your literature review. Do you have, how many references have you used in this?
17. 1 minute.
And what is the earliest? What's the date of the oldest?
طيب, okay. 1 minute, sir. From 2023 to 2017.
Okay, it's okay. Now, you've touched a very nice topic. You've gathered very nice paragraphs, but I have a problem, and then I'll leave the floor to my colleagues. My problem that you put objectives, go back to the research, and then you put methodology, but you did not connect these together. We do not want you to go to make a field work. Just connect this together and give us the two things. What is the components of the smart city that you feel? Try to imagine or to suggest a place, a city that you want to apply to. This could be Amman, this could be Erbil, this could be Honolulu, could be Hawaii, I don't know. Then, or seek the best, call it the ideal smart city, and see, and connect those items together. When you have so many, one moment, I'll show you what I mean. One moment. You see this graph here? That's a very important one. But you should connect it together. How would you connect this? You said that you want to have the structural, the best structural management system. It is not in your work. It is not an output. You said, I want to have the best smart city elements. You did not highlight which one of those is suitable and so on. So if you go to the objectives of your research, you'll find read number 3. What is effective organization structure? Questions at the beginning of the research, we must see the answers at the end of the conclusion, at the end of the research. You did not answer this. What is it? Now, when you talk about the reality dimensions, what exactly we should look at when we could talk about reality dimensions? And so you have the research questions approved. You have the core that you have. Whoever talked about smart city from economical point of view, from IT point of view, from under these plans here, then you take us through the story to the ideal one. The ideal one is not your idea. The ideal one from the literature, you see that okay, we these are the parameters. This is the way they should connect it. This is the best organizational structure according to literature. By this, your research would be okay. But in general, you've done to me, you've done a good job, and what I'm telling you is to make it perfect job. I leave the floor to my colleagues. Okay, I leave the floor to Dr. Akram. Okay, last time we left it to Dr. Nuha. Once she heard her name, she shut off the camera and left us. So
Yes,
this time
I
I'll be
ran
very
away.
careful.
Thanks a lot, Prof. Zahir, and thanks for the efforts of the student. I would like to say that from my little experience again, literature review papers maybe are not easy as some maybe some people can imagine. And usually people with very deep experience in regards to publishing published literature review actually papers. The idea is not to see what have been written or even to give a critical, let me say, opinion about what have been written. The idea, where is the model you have developed? For example, the new model you have developed after reviewing the literature critically. This is very important. What is the new? You are a PhD student, and always when we talk about the work, the research work of the PhD students, we should talk about contributing to the body of the knowledge. Where is the contribution to the body of the knowledge in this work? This is the most important. A question can be raised here. I think I give you some let me say, notes, and I asked about the research strategy and design. Yes. I asked about in my comments when I sent it to you. Yes, I asked about the research strategy and design. Where is the research strategy and design? Let me say something else. How did you undertake this literature review paper?
Again?
How did you undertake this literature review paper? In other words, you should clarify and explain the methodology clearly you followed while you are undertaking this literature review paper.
I mentioned in presentation slide 7. I am not control here.
No problem. Just in the Microsoft, in the Word file, I haven't seen.
No.
Let's move with time. Double check, Bashar. Bashar, double
Okay.
check.
Also from my just a minute. Again, in your work, there is no research strategy or even research design. This is what I have in front of me. The original file you didn't talk about.
Dr. Akram, the strategy and the design has to be concentrated on two things. On the available literature and on the understanding that it's a literature review critical, I would say, understanding and development and evolvement from literature review. So it's a desktop
Professor,
study.
I have no problem with this, but just I need to see this written and more. Actually,
yeah, I agree.
Yes.
It must be.
For example, the researcher in the previous research talked about, for example, he said I reviewed 100 of research, something like this. There is something they talk about systematic literature review. Which type of literature review you actually implemented in this research? You should clarify this. This is very important. Even in the literature review paper, we have to talk about the methodology we followed. That's it. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Nuha.
Thank you, Professor. Bashar, I have the same notes mentioned by Professor Khan. I just had a problem with the definitions or the meanings of successful factors, effective factors. So how would you classify, or what's the difference between successful factors and effective factors? You need to state that clearly. With regards to your research questions, why sustainability? Like you're in the second question, you're asking what are the indicators of sustainability and knowledge management in smart cities? Why sustainability and knowledge management in specific?
Why it's sustainability?
And and knowledge management. Why did you choose those two factors or the dimensions? I don't know what you call them.
I didn't choose in myself يعني in my brain. After I read all topic and what I read about sustainability and knowledge management and many topic mention about that for the smart city and because the smart city it should be sustainability for smart for good life for innovation for human capital and offering prime service. يعني it should be sustainability not like that once and go hit and run. Sustainability for environment, sustainability how to use our sources. This is يعني
What about knowledge management?
Again,
what do you mean by knowledge management?
It should be knowledge management to transfer the what you learn, what you have experienced to another people, your colleague, because the step of the managers and employee growth and need to knowledge management. Even the people, they have knowledge management, how to use the Internet of Things, how to use the mobility, how to use how to live as a smart, how to keep the environment.
Well, that's common sense, but my question is, why did you choose sustainability and knowledge management? And in specific, like there is also resilience, there are other also factors or factors that would affect the smart city. Why those? You've mentioned that this is based on literature, right?
Yes.
So yeah, this brings us to the literature review part. In the literature review part, we usually list or mention previous work that would indicate that we have studied those literature and those studies on the topic, and we come up at the end with a conclusion of a research gap that your paper should cover or fill. Okay, so I didn't see that part. I didn't see your research gap. I didn't know why you're doing this research. So please, at the end of the literature review part, please add a conclusion on that shows clearly what's your research gap. That would help you in getting into or linking the literature review to the research questions that you've mentioned.
Yes.
I would agree with Dr. Akram on the structure of the research, the methodology you followed, and yeah, that's it.
To be honest, this is the first time for me to write these topic papers, and I after engineer Dr. Akram mentioned about the research methodology, I again review what I read in literature review for topic for papers, and one of these topic, it's scientific paper. He mentioned about what exactly I follow what he mentioned. This exactly what he mentioned I follow. Because I not survey, it's for me literature review. Okay, I follow one of scientific paper, the methodology for the research, and put it to be compatible with my
Bashar, we have to stop here.
my paper.
Okay, Bashar. Thank you very much. Dr. Noha, do you have another question or comment?
And I would just advise him to insert the figures that he has on this lovely presentation. I love the design of the presentation. So it would help you and the reader to wrap up or summarize the data as you've done in this presentation. So please insert them into your research paper.
Sure.
Otherwise, you've done a good job, Bashar.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we are. Yeah, we have another presentation at 11. So we will ask you to do something, Bashar. We want you to present the two left ones, 5 minutes each. We will not discuss it. Just in 5 minutes, finish the third one and the fourth one. We want to have an idea about what you've done. And then we will see if you can extend the time or not. But in 5 minutes, represent the fourth one and the fifth one. Go ahead.
With my pleasure. Intelligent leadership style. Intelligent leadership style. Actually, the research purpose studying structure leadership style in to reach intelligent leadership. Let me summarize because I have only five minutes. What's the internet? Oh my God. Ya Allah. I will, my question, is there intelligent leadership in management science? This is the main question. I will not go here or here. The structure leadership style, what we talk in the last semester and previous semester for leadership styles, many leadership styles, approximately 11 leadership styles. No any topic direct in intelligent leadership style. Leadership style, Doctor, you are with me? Professor?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because I maximize the high. It need intelligent thinking. Intelligent thinking, it's so important. Intelligent thinking is so important. Can process information efficiently and make a good decision based on the knowledge, ability to reason a plan, solve a problem, think abstractly, comprehend complex idea, learn quickly. Intelligent thinking, it's so important also to lead to competitive advantage and competitiveness. Okay, develop based in internal stimuli as well as their environment. The intelligent leadership, he has two things: intelligent thinking, emotional intelligence. Both two factors, it will give him self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, social awareness, and social skills. Leadership, to intelligent leader, to understand what the intelligent leadership and traditional leadership. The first point is wrong. The intelligent leadership is vision oriented. Traditional is goal oriented. It's my mistake here. Also, the intelligent leadership focus on the present situation, good or bad. Traditional focus on the achieved goal. Here, in intelligent, acknowledge and encourage growth. The opposite for the traditional. Align here inner core strength and outer core competitiveness. It's so important. Also, in intelligent leadership, it's not care for macro management at all, but in traditional, it's focus or involve macro management while he work. Intelligent leadership, they have three things: benefit and importance, strength and drawback. For strength, decisions are made quickly, obtain employee affiliation, close and consist focus on the company vision. Many things, I will not
What you've
read
done,
it all of them.
Bashar,
But-
what you have done.
but-
This is the literature review. What you've done. What is your output?
Right, 1 minute. The conclusion, okay? The output. Intelligent leadership need wise leader who process unique. It will not be any leader to be intelligent leadership without a wise leader to be wise leader. Leadership qualities can be multiple angle of the present time and the future time. All of these, most of these, not all, most of these, my belief, evaluation and raise the level of human resource, stimulate their inspiration and passion, the employee, determine the location and mechanism of competition. The 3 tenets of the consider: self-awareness, executive brain function, response agility. This is my conclusion. This is the third topic, Professor. In 5 minutes, I finished.
Do you want to comment, my colleagues? Do you want to to comment in 5 minutes? Go ahead. Major comment, major directive.
Nothing from my side.
Again, Prof, the same idea. Where is the output? Where is the model you developed from this literature review? What is
Great.
your contribution to the body of the knowledge? Thank you very much.
And I second what Dr. Akram has said, and let us move to the fourth one.
Can I speak one sentence? One sentence.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yes, of course.
Yes. Professor Akram, yeah, really, I am happy to give me the feedback, really, to understand and to learn. That reason, when I send it the topic in WhatsApp, to give me any feedback to understand, because when I alone, maybe I lost to how to thinking. This is the first time. This is the first time to read in the same level, the high level for papers. To be honest, I am practical. I am engineer practical. I am project manager practical. It's when go to the theory, it's need another learning, another advice, another. Really, I am happy to give me.
Understood. Clear, Bashar. This is clear. We thank you for your humbleness, and we are sure that you can do. You can learn, you can upgrade yourself quickly. Our role is to support you in this. Within the coming week, you have to finish the 4 papers, and we will be supporting you in achieving the goal, inshallah.
Inshallah. The fourth, crisis management and leadership theory. Research purpose 3. Identify the essentially feature of crisis management model. Second, understand the difference between the role of
Bashar, I wanted to say it. Excuse me, Bashar. I wanted to say it from, say, 1.5 hours ago. Crisis. No, not crisis.
Crisis.
You are talking about, so
crisis.
it's a crisis. Yes.
Crisis.
Give it the S,
Crisis.
please. Make me happy.
Crisis. Yes, I am so sorry. Yeah, okay. I will not mistake
ahead.
again. Crisis. Understand the difference between the role of crisis management and crisis leadership in crisis. Third, understand the impact of information communication channels of crisis management. Two goals I have. Determine the role crisis leadership in crisis management. Determine the structural leadership style. 3 questions. What is the role of the crisis leadership in crisis management? What is the difference between the role of crisis management and crisis leadership in crisis? What is the importance of communication in crisis management? My themes also, it's connected between themes, questions, and goal. Crisis management, crisis leadership, strategic leadership, and strategic thinking. I will not speak. I have read 20 papers. I select 18 papers. I selected, categorize by keyword, see the connection, the relation between each 18 papers. Okay. Crisis communication plan. It's so important to effective communication help in managing crisis through coordination response activities, process, and rules. This is the type of the crisis communication plan. I will not read it. Okay. Crisis leadership, they have involved dynamic. What is the dynamic? Emotional, formal power, informal power, attribute, ability, treat, interact, many things. This is dynamic for the crisis leadership. The role of the crisis leadership in crisis management. 5 things. 5 things should be leadership care for that. Detecting and anticipate crisis, planning and preparation, effective communication, leading and motivation employee, decision making. This is so important, and problem solving. The key competence of crisis leadership: sense making, decision making, communicating, coordinate teamwork. It's so important. Coordinating teamwork, facilitator of learning. The strategic leadership and strategic thinking. They have many things to strategic thinking and strategic leadership.
3 minutes.
What conclusion? Yes, I finished. Sorry, I finished. 4 things. It's so important. Crisis management and crisis leadership are 2 disparate but interrelated activity in crisis both, and are in this for effective recovery. This is so important. Crisis management consider the operational element of dealing with the crisis by implementing predetermined plan and procedures. The another way, crisis leadership highlighted the human and strategic component through ability, flexibility, and ability to navigate the new and unexpected situation. The final things. Crisis leaders are critical in managing and navigation crisis, ensuring the organization stability, reputation, and well-being. Thank you so much.
Akram, Dr. Nuha.
Just right now, my friend, I have done a quick search on ChatGPT, and I agree with the context, because I already have taught research methodology, and from my experience as assistant professor, I provided some advices to you in regards to the steps you can consider in the future in regards to writing actually a literature review paper. I sent it to you by WhatsApp now. That's it.
Okay. Dr. Nuha.
I just have one advice or a recommendation for Bashar, that usually when we do literature review research, we make a conclusion of the findings in a table that shows the different studies we've gone through, and a summary of all the findings. That's usually very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, my final remark, Bashar, is you have to connect both in some sort of flow chart or a model, or I would say experience from others. How did they connect it? You have to show it, enhance it, compare it, like it, dislike it. Tell us what's exactly how to connect the leadership style and the crisis management. One of the things that you put in here, sorry, I'm taking the lead here. You see this one here? It is the criteria that you should put in your first research. This is a criteria. These are the elements of crisis leadership. You need the same elements for leadership style, and you have it in here. Leadership style. Where is it? I think you had. Where is it? Somewhere in the beginning. No. Well, we had I would say a slide about leadership styles. What is it? What is leadership styles? Leadership styles. Come on, I'm not that old. Do you agree with me that we had such a thing, or I was dreaming?
Leadership style, the previous topic.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, take the previous one, leadership styles. Connect it to this one. This will be the dependent or independent variable, or it will be the criteria that you want to connect. Then connect it to this one. You'll end up with a very nice research. Connect these to those and give me what is the best out of them. What is the best leadership style in the crisis leadership? Okay, remember this. All the videos are recorded. Ask for the recording and have a list done of all recommendations, all comments that we have, me and my colleagues have told you to do. Our comments is to are delivered to you because we feel that this will enhance your work and will make it up to standard. You've done a great job. So far, you are the best student in the presentation side. You've given a very nice PowerPoint, which is good. Shows that your interest. As I said, you have touched important topics, and you have 1 week to do all the corrections. Me, Dr. Nuha, and Dr. Akram will be beside you. Once you finish a paper, send it to us so that you are not stuck with the 4 of them one go, one by one, so that we make sure it's final. And as I said, it's no problem in having literature review, but have it right, have it modeled, have it with a nice conclusion. I would like to thank Dr. Nuha, Dr. Akram, Bashar, and we will move now to the second discussion. Thank you, Dr. Nuha. Shukran. Thank you, Dr. Akram.
I can leave now. Yeah, I think the second one will be after hours. Yeah.
The second one will be, I think, I'm not sure. You have to check with Dr. Ismail, but it would be at 4:30.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you at 1, inshallah.
See you then. Thank you. Thanks, Bashar.
Thank you, Doctor. I will turn back to you and Dr. Noha to help me.
Inshallah. We are available, inshallah. Don't worry.
Attend the videos, right? Put down what was required from you. Start working on it. Send us the first paper. We will make sure that it's okay. Then you move the other one and the other one. Okay? Yalla, go ahead. Bismillah. Dr. Ismail. دكتور عصام البحيصي. دكتور عصام
انا موجود من بدري.
تفضل دكتور عصام، تفضل. Your camera. Hani is with us, of course. Is this Hani?
Yes, dear professor, I am Hani.
Is this handsome guy, nice looking guy, Hani?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's you.
دكتور صير شاعر بالانجليزي بالدفع.
انت غيران يا استاذ. ادخل معنا كاميرا. مالك دكتور عصام؟
مش انا عادي حاطط كاميرا بس مش عارف ليش.
بدك تطلع وتنزل تختار الكاميرا من الاعدادات. ايوه تمام.
مش بدي غير يا اخوي.
Let's hustle. Hani, upload your presentation, please. Till you upload it, we will
just
leave the
moment.
floor to Dr.
Just a moment.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, dear professor, shall I start?
No, wait. Upload, yes, upload your presentation. Are you doing it, Dr. Ismail?
Yeah.
Okay. We will wait. Okay, till Dr. Ismail finishes. My dear Hani, you have to present your topic in 10 minutes, each one. After 10 minutes, you give us the floor to discuss your research. Then you will go for the second one for another 10 minutes, and so on and so forth till we finish. Try to be to show us during your presentation what you've done. Okay, show us that there is a methodology, there is a work that has been a line of work that has been followed, but tell us exactly what you've done. What is your effort? Show us the calories that you consumed. Okay. Now I think we are ready. Go ahead, Dr. Ismail. Start the event. Go ahead.
Okay. Give me a while, please.
We can see it now. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I just will move the control. Make the Hani as a presenter. Okay, Hani, before we start, just to check you if you have the control on the presentation.
Yes, I have the plus sign here on the right.
No, not the plus sign. Just directly, if you can change the slides.
The arrows below. Slide 1, slide 2. Can you see the sign below? The line of slides. Slide. Yes, it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes. Go back to the first one.
All right. Okay. Bismillah. So let's start the second session for today for comprehensive examination 2 with the student Hani Al-Gbilat. And first of all, please allow me to welcome our respected professors, the committee of this exam, the head of committee, Professor Zahir Kyle. Professor Kyle, he is the director of the programs of the International American University in the Middle East, and he had his PhD from Salford University in UK since 1989 and became a full professor in 2002. And he used to establish and be a president for 2 universities, and he has a lot of achievements in the academic and the professional fields. He is an international expert in engineering and management and education. You are welcome, Professor. And we have with us also committee member Professor Assam Buhaisi. Professor Assam Buhaisi received his PhD in accounting and financial management from the University of Valladolid in Spain.
دكتور اسماعيل
Yes.
دكتور اسماعيل اذا بدك تحكيها بالاسبانيه اسمها بيادوليد، واذا بدك تحكيها بالعربيه اسمها بلد الوليد.
لا مانيش على الاسباني والله يا دكتور.
نحكيها بالعربي بلد الوليد وخلص.
بلد الوليد خلاص. جامعة بلد الوليد. اوكي. طب بالانجليزي ايش بتطلع دكتور؟
ايش تلفظ كما هي بالاسبانيه بيادوليد، الدبل ال اي تلفظ.
بيادوليد. اوكي. Nice information. Okay. And Professor Al-Buhaisi, he working in many different administrative roles in academic, mostly in senior academic positions such as position of dean and vice president. And he also worked as a consultant in the field of business, which enable his lecturers to be delivered with a profound knowledge applicable in the practical business field. And he has a lot of experience, professional experience in the in finance and in accounting. And he worked with national and international organizations locally and internationally as well. You are welcome, Professor Assam Al-Buhaisi. And for me, myself, I will be the also the member for this examination committee. My name is Ismail Abu Sada. I have my PhD in business administration from the International Islamic University in Malaysia, and I'm now currently the academic coordinator for the programs of the International American University in the Middle East. Okay, right now we will start. I will leave the floor to the Professor Kyle to control the examination. And
okay, we will hit it directly. Dr. Hani.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have 10 minutes for the first presentation. Go ahead.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, thank you, Dr. Ismail, for introducing me, and these are very distinguished professor, and it's my honor to be in front of you in order to discuss my topics today. Actually, I feel that I'm proud to be in front of you. The first topic, it is about the theme of alienation and the impact of this sense upon the teachers. And I choose Madaba, my city, to be a case study on the high school teachers. The impact of the sense of alienation on the performance of the teachers in high schools, a case study in Madaba. I wrote this very simple on my PowerPoint and direct to tell you exactly what I have done, as Professor Zahar said. This paper discusses the influence of the sense of alienation, and I want to add something here that the alienation among people and has an influence on the individual level, or the groups or universities or education institutions. And I already have done something in social field about alienation, so I claim that I'm very familiar with this theme, and I can study this theme and its influence upon the performance of the teachers in the educational field. This paper tries to highlight the different sources of teachers' alienation in order to avoid the weakness comes out of these elements. It derives from previous studies And I want to say thank you very much for Professor Isam for his very, very great and critical corrections that he sent to me. They are very serious and good. And they helped me to do this in this paper in this way. The study suggests some recommendation to enhance education in Jordan, and it takes Madaba as a case study, as I said before. What is the problem that I noticed in order to study this theme and the influence of this sense on the teachers in high schools, particularly in Madaba? Community in Jordan considers secondary school as a very important level of schooling, particularly grade 12 اللي هو التوجيهي, and we call it التوجيهي. That is because students can get their future specialist, the subject they want to study, everything according to their grades and their marks in التوجيهي. Therefore, studying the factors influence progress in education, particularly secondary school, is an important issue here in Jordan. Accordingly, teacher is the most important factor in education process. Yes, we know this. And generally speaking, people ignore here in our region, people ignore the psychological state of teachers. So it is very important to study the psychological state of teachers, and the sense of alienation, one of them. And this is the most important nowadays, and it is spreaded in our societies from many different sources, maybe technology, one of them. It is very important to study psychological state. This study intended to study the influence of the sense on the performance of teachers in high school.
You have, Hani, you have to speed up. You have to speed up. Go to your work. Go to your work. Very good.
What are the objectives? Here I have the aim of the study, that interested in human resources and the efficiency of the education, in order to highlight the sources of where the sense of alienation stems from, and the specific educational situation. In addition of that, what are the effects of this phenomenon on students? Because we know that if their teachers feel alien, so this will affect their students. Thus, the study shall give us an answer if these are signs of progressing. Because at the beginning of my study, I asked the very biggest question: does the world progress or forward? So this study maybe will give us an answer to these signs of progressing, or on the other hand, they are signs of backward therapy. This study is participating to improving the teaching learning process and the level of education, the quality of education particularly. What are the questions? My questions are: do teachers in high schools in Madaba feel alien? And does the teacher's psychological state influence education in high school in Madaba? Is psychological state infectious in infectious state in high schools to move from one teacher to another one, or to the students maybe? Is there any difference between men and, or are there many differences between men and women regarding to the alienation in high schools in Madaba? Do students really like the absence of their teachers? Does the weekly load of teaching hours affect teachers' performance? And also the last questions related to many subtitles. What are the main reasons of alienations? And I will choose maybe economic situation, salary, their salary, services they get, health service, housing and weekly load hours, place and environment of work, maybe the context of the work in general.
5 minutes.
And,
5 minutes, Hani.
yes, political factor.
minutes.
Yes, okay, Professor. And social factor. And they are very important two factors there. What are the hypotheses? The absence of teachers is a sign of their alienation. The level of teachers' alienation can measure their performance. The level of teachers' alienation can measure their performance. Psychological state and bad mood among teachers is an infectious phenomenon. There is no difference between men and women regarding to the sense of alienation among teachers of high schools in Madam. Feeling alien is a negative aspect in educational field. The employees in academic and vocational, can you switch it off, please? And vocational field alien in the same degree. Weekly load of teachers affect their performance. These are the hypotheses that are put. In literature review, I talked, or the study talked about the alienation as a concept, and it is a historical factor, but in the modern era, it acquires new meanings. Yes, we know this, that alienation developed from the old, maybe it started from Karl Marx started this concept, maybe in 18, I don't know the exact. And also the Eric Fromm talked about this too much in 3 distinguished boxes. Alienation, as we find in modern society, is almost total. It provides the relationship of man and his work to the things he consumes, to the state, to his fellow man, and also to himself, and maybe more. Alienation in work field. At the beginning, I talked about the alienation in work field in general, and then I will move from this slide to the second one, because it's more important than this one. This talks about the work in general, not in the educational field. So teachers' alienation is the phenomenon of teachers' alienation, has a multiple features and manifestations that may occur or appear in any society. Thus, there is an evidence that the achievement of students is an evidence that the achievement of students is going through a crisis. It may lead to decline and failure of students, as it is relative to a phenomenon that differs. So this phenomenon deserves to be studied according to that time. Maybe I repeated this important for its importance. The sense of alienation in most societies has negative consequences, both on the functional aspect and the psychological aspect. This is quoted from, or paraphrased from, Hatcher and Hedger. Okay, theoretical framework. We have Maslow's theory that suggests that job satisfaction occurs when job outcomes matched with his or her, I mean the teacher or the worker, expectations. So the employee receives as a custom, and this is maybe related to my first slide. Comes they value, the more they feel satisfied, the more they will be active in workplace. In this regard, studying teachers' sense of alienation could definitely lead to their performance in teaching students in high school negatively. And this is maybe a finding comes here. Methodology.
You haven't, yeah, Hani, you are moving very slow. Tell us what you have done. This is methodology. Go and tell us what you've done, please. You have only 3 minutes.
It is a descriptive analytical method. Okay, Professor. In general, the study uses the descriptive analytical method for purpose of analyzing the relationship between the sense of alienation and the performance of teachers in high schools in Madaba. Those are the analytical method. Okay, the study interested in studying the theme of under discussion, particularly in 2 ways. First, the study is going to follow the analytical descriptive, as I mentioned, of analyzing information collected from a questionnaire, which is be distributed among teachers of high schools in Madaba. Second, compares and contrasts previous studies to get a conclusion. Data analysis, the aim of the research is studying impact of sense of alienation performing high schools in Madaba. So the study is following a logical, structured, and consistent process of evaluate the impact of the sense of alienation. Resources, that is, sense stems from the resources. Yes. The collected data through the questionnaire and semi-structured interviews process is the material that is needed to get finding based on the statistical and other means of analysis. That's everything in the first.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Professor Sam, go ahead.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, yes.
Hani,
Yes,
you just right now, speak about a questionnaire. Speak about a questionnaire and interviews to get the data or to collect the data. Is there any realized questionnaire in your study? Where is the questionnaire? Where is the data analysis?
It's not in this PowerPoint. They are separated.
No, not in your study. It is not presented. There is no data collection nor data analysis. So what is your contribution? If there is no data collection nor data analysis, what did you do? You just present us a theoretical framework about developed countries, but about Jordan, about Madaba, nothing, which is your contribution. So I don't know what is your contribution in this study. Nothing. There is no data collection. There is no data analysis. Your hypothesis was not examined. There is no findings. There is no recommendations. I told you about these issues in my corrections, but I didn't find it. You need also adequate structure for your study. For example, the abstract should be prepared in a scientific introduction, and to the documentation process should be follow the ABA. So these are the main comments. Thank you.
Okay, I will pass the mic to Dr. Ismail.
All right, thank you, Professor Zahar. Thank you, Professor Assam. Hani, actually, I will start from the last point mentioned by Professor Assam. So without analysis without findings. So what is the research? It's like only like a framework, or it could be considered as a proposal. I think it needs some work to be a full proposal first, and to be a research, because as we understand that you have to do a mini research, not only a proposal. I think this point has been mentioned by Professor Zahir and confirmed many times. So in general, but I will give some comments actually in your work. First of all, if you can return back to the first slide. As a general comment, you have to follow APA style in your paper and in your presentation. We have APA guidelines for papers and for presentation. So, for example, the first one, the title slide. In the title slide, you have to mention the name of the university, the name of your professors, the name of the committee, the program, your name, not only the title of your research, okay? Okay, so go to the slide number 4, please. I noticed that this point not only in this research, your objectives and the questions are not reflected. So the questions should reflect the objectives, and the objectives should reflect the questions. So make them same. At least if you have 3 questions, for example, you have to have 3 objectives. So review this part. Go to the questions, please. Let me ask you, do you have explanatory or exploratory study? Open the microphone, please. Put it on, please.
Explanatory about what?
So, in research methodology, usually our research, exploratory or explanatory, you are exploring something or explaining something in your research. The main objective.
Pilot study. Do you mean pilot, Dr. Ismail?
I'm not sure about.
I mean the nature of the main objective, the aim of the study, to explain something.
Yes.
There's a phenomenon, and you are going to explain, or you are going to explore something not explored yet.
No, it is going to explain and explore at the same time, because if there is an influence of the alienation of teachers in high schools on their students and their performance in their school, so I will discover this, and maybe the research itself will discover this issue, okay. And also it will explain how this will explain, and it will discover also from where this sense of alienation, okay. That teachers.
All right. Hani, now is this your dissertation topic, the current topic?
Yes.
Title? Okay. So maybe in dissertation level it could be applicable, but when we talk about mini research, I think better to focus on one only, because your first question is talking about something to discover or to explore, that about do teachers in high schools in Madaba feel aligned? So you're still not sure about that. You are going to find out. Okay?
Yes, dear Dr. Ismail, can I say something? That as you said, that this is the main topic of my research, and you know that already we have sent our literature review about our topics and the proposal, but I don't want to repeat myself. In this study, I want wanted to write something new in order to maybe hit two birds in one stone. I wanted to expand my vision about this, to write something new.
Hani, I agree with you. I agree with you about this. But my point is, if you have any study that confirming the feeling of the teachers, no need to re-ask the question again, because you already have the evidence if there is a study. But if there is no study confirming that, so maybe you can go to explore or discover the situation to find out if they are feeling aligned or not. So this will be another issue, okay? Because here in many research, I think it's better to focus on one issue. This is my my point. Okay, just to go quickly in the time. Question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think better to put numbers for.
Yes.
To conclude.
Can you
Dr.
read
Ismail.
the second?
Dr. Ismail, try to conclude. Try to
Yeah,
conclude.
yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. Okay, okay. Skip this one. The last question. I'm not sure about the points under the question. Are you answering the question or you only asking?
No, these are main points. Maybe they will be the sources of the alienation of the high school.
Okay, Hani. Now this slide for the questions.
Yes.
Now you put the question and answer. It cannot be together. Okay. So here put only questions and try to answer the question in your research. So why you are doing a research? To find answer for your question. If you put the answer here, so it's already answered.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Very quickly, the hypotheses. Look at this. In slide number 6, you said one of your hypotheses, feeling aligned is a negative aspect in educational field, right?
Yes.
Okay, go to number 9. Slide number 9, I mean. Okay, the last sentence, the sense of alienation in most societies has negative consequences both on the functional aspect and the psychological aspects. If there is something already approved in some researches and you mentioned something related, so you cannot re-mention that again and make the hypothesis where you already have the evidence. So be aware about that, because sometimes you're not repeating, you are asking about something and give the answer in the same presentation.
Yes,
so
I know it is a repetition.
come, together. Okay, so because of time constraints, that's all from my side. Another comments will be, you will find it in the file inshallah. Thank you so much. Professor Assam.
Thank you, Doctor.
Just one comment. Your hypothesis must be reformed in statistical form. These are not hypotheses. Must be reformed in statistical form. These are not hypotheses. These are ideas for hypotheses.
Sure, I agree with that.
Reformed in statistical form. Is there any relation or there is no relation? There is effect, there is no effect in statistical what? Okay?
Okay, Doctor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Doctor.
Okay. I will cast my comments. I don't want any response from you, Hani. I will cast my recommendations and comments. First of all, this is some sort of a proposal, not a research. You have to convert it to a research, mini research. You have, if you have to collect some questionnaire, and instead of collecting it from 100 people, collect it from 10 people. But tell us how would you carry out the research, have analysis. What I have in front of me is not hypothesis. These are assumptions. As Professor Assam said, the hypothesis, it has to have two variables and the relation between them and the significance between them. And there are usually two types. One type is the null hypothesis, which is the negative against your research, till you prove it is positive, and the positive one that supports your research. We did not see the way you want to analyze your data. We did not see the questionnaire questions that you want to put. So my direct advice from today, tell us what is the questionnaire that you want to put. Send us the questions, not send us. Cast the questions. Ask 10 people exactly what their feeling alienation. Define alienation in a very well tangible. How would you know that me as a teacher, lecturer is alienated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the proof that you are alienated, and so on. And then the performance. How would you judge the performance? How would you say that it's a good or bad? So under performance, there are criteria, and under alienation, there are some elements that you should do. And it's very important in the practical to have some sort of dependent and independent factors to your work. As I said, this is not a research, this is a proposal. You have to recast this, and we want to see a mini research. As for the literature review, it's very simple. In order to make your hypothesis right, you are not the first person to do the research. Just get some previous dissertations from libraries. The net is full of that, and follow it step by step, but make it small. Make it a capsule. But when I look at it, it has all the layout, because you have taken that part of the research process, not the literature summary process or criticism process. You did not say take the mathematical modeling or whatever is the research method that you want to follow. At the end of the day, have it like a capsule with all details: research, problem, methodology, literature review methodology. And when you go to a literature review, prove your research statement by figuring out the gap. So we have concluded the first paper. Go to the second one, please.
Hani, you can change the presentation from your side. Just click on the plus sign, and you will find for presentations, choose the number 2. Yeah, correct.
Yes. Topic number 2, it is also related to the same field. The field of education, and it is also interested in teachers in high schools, also in Madam. The impact of the leadership style on the performance of teachers of high schools in Madam. I asked also at the same time, the topic, it is a part of the topic, what are the factors that detect the approach, I mean the style of leadership, and which style suit which field? This study introduces specific leadership styles, namely the authentic, laissez-faire, servant, transformational style, and the study tries to highlight the relationship between leadership style and the performance of teachers in high schools. It also elaborates the impact of leadership style on the performance of teachers in high schools. In addition, the study tries to determine the factors that detect the suitable style that allows teachers to reach the highest efficiency in their teaching system. The keywords will be the leadership style, authentic, laissez-faire, servant, transformational, teachers' performance. In the introduction, contemporary studies, there are different definitions of the leadership. Leadership was defined by Fulham, 2004, that leadership is not mobilizing others to solve the problem because they know how to solve, but they help them cope with the problem, which is not successfully resolved. It is the relationship between leaders and employees. Moreover, it is a trend phenomenon deserves to be studied nowadays. Leadership considers by bias as a very critical point of the success of organization or its fail. The success of organization or its fail. The research problem and the question, it is noted that the relationship style has a major role in the success of the fields, all fields, especially in education. However, it is more important to choose a suitable style for education, especially in high schools. So the main question is in this study is that how we choose a suitable style for education in high school. Does the culture determine the relationship style? These are the variables. Maybe the dependent variable will be the performance that teachers and principals of high schools. The independent variables will be the population of high school, size of the school, cultural background of students and teachers at the same time. Students will teachers. Philosophy of the principal himself or herself, objectives of the high school. Some schools that have some ideologies or some objectives. The research hypothesis, leadership style, has a major role in the success in high schools. Context of school, I mean the context, every surrounding context of the school, culture, size, population, philosophy, and have they have a significant role in determining the leadership style. The research objectives, the study compares and contrasts information from previous studies in order to reach a conclusion and outcomes according to its hypotheses. In addition of that, the analysis of liquid data here also and semi-structured interviews in a very important for the findings and recommendation of the study. Research methodology, the population of the study are 50 schools, maybe this is the population of the school. High schools in Madaba and more than 600 teachers in all of these schools. Those who filled the questionnaire are will be the sample of the study. Here I'm talking about the leadership style, authentic one, the authentic leadership style, and I quoted from 3 resources or 2 resources maybe here in this PowerPoint slide. The authentic is it is a good volume is that following as being authentic when inauthentic. Sorry, he or she is already complained with stereotypes and demands related to it. In the contrary of this, May et al. 2003 provided an extensive discussion of this moral component, describing an ethical and transport decision-making process where the authentic leaders develop and draw up reserves of moral capacity, efficiency, courage, and resiliency to address ethical issues and achieve authentic and sustained moral actions. The servant leadership, although the contradiction between the word servant and the leader, there is a contradiction between them. It has a deep meaning of a new theory of leadership. Cynthia Saros, in 2002, argued that the motivation element of servant leadership portrays a fundamental presupposition which distinguishes the concept from other leadership thoughts. So servant leaders are interested in something more important than need to power, which is the need to serve. Now, the transformational leadership. The transformational leadership is a style that principally encourage and motivates teachers to achieve their full potential. This type of leadership has a significant impact on the performance of teachers, as it leads to increased job satisfaction, motivations, and productivity due to sense of responsibility. According to transformational leadership theory, the leader has a great significant role in influencing the workers and interact with them effectively. Davis and Jarrett, 2022, described the transformation as the leader is on acceptable objectives for their followers and for their company. And Brown's viewpoint, maybe there are more than enough here quotations, about transformational leadership was that they are visionaries who seek to transform the organizations or movements that they head. اللي هم بيرأسوها. Laissez-faire leadership is a style when the principal provides little or no direction to teachers and allow them to make their own decisions. This type of leadership can have a negative, sometimes, impact on performance of teachers. It can lead to confusion, lack of directions, and low motivation among teachers. The factors that determine leadership style in high schools, I already mentioned them before.
5 minutes maximum 5 minutes.
Yes.
Tell us what you've done. This is the literature review. Tell us what you have done. What was your effort other than the literature review?
Population, size, objective, and the impact of leadership, and also maybe it's also, as you mentioned, Professor Zahir, it's also this related to the literature review. Impact of leadership style performance in high school depends on the type leadership. Transformational leadership style keen to have a positive impact. I will move. Now I finished, maybe this is the last slide. The transactional leadership style can also have a positive performance if done correctly. However, autocratic, laissez-faire leadership style keen to have a negative impact. That's everything in PowerPoint slides of topic 2.
Okay, Dr. Professor Assam, your turn. What do you think?
I think that the 4 topics say suffering the same problem. 4 topics, not this only. They are not a research. They are unorganized proposal. As proposal need to be organized, need relative references using ABA, need to give us an idea about the educational conditions in Ma'daba, and to reform the objectives, the questions, the the hypothesis, etc. And as a research, there must be a clear methodology, a clear data collection instrument, a clear data analysis, and then to get conclusions, findings, and recommendations. I think the 4 topics suffer the same. Thanks.
Okay, Dr. Ismail, please.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Again, I agree with Professor Assam about that. Hani, you need to show more efforts in the proposal and in the research to make it as a research. But I'm afraid about something in the structure of your proposal, actually. Please go to the first slide, title slide.
Okay.
Anyway, when you intend to do a research, starting from the title, I think this title need to paraphrased, because if you can see, we have 3 issues and not connected very well. It looks like separated sentences. So the title cannot be in this way. So rethink to the main idea and the main problem of your research. Okay, again, just to move when the time, go to slide number 4. Or, excuse me, go to number 6 first, please. Okay. How many hypotheses you have?
There are 2 here.
2. The title of the slide? Hypothesis or hypotheses. So mind the language. This is a little or a small comment. Okay, read the first one, please. The first.
Leadership style has a major role in the success of education in high schools. It's a major.
Okay, a comment. The writing of the hypotheses should be according to the statistically way, as mentioned by Professor Assam in the previous presentation. But another point. Look at this idea, this sentence. Here you are saying leadership style has a major role in the success of education in high school, right? So you make this as a hypothesis, and this hypothesis need to be tested, right? Okay.
Yes.
Go back, please, to slide number 4. 4.
But please, Dr. Ismail, please just a comment. All his hypotheses must be concentrated in Ma'daba, not in general. In Ma'daba, not in general. Here he speaks in general. This is not a hypothesis.
Because Hani, you already choose to make the research in Ma'daba, so you have to specify every part of your research to be in Ma'daba. The hypotheses, the objectives, the questions, because you already choose to make the research there. Okay, so my point now, the first sentence here, you are saying it's noted that the leadership style has a major role in the success of all fields, especially in education. So you already confirmed this point, this idea. And then you come in hypothesis, say this is a hypothesis, and you are going to test it. And you, by yourself, you already confirm it in the research. So again, at the same point, be careful, be aware about what you are going to test and what you are confirming and what you are taking from previous studies and references. Okay. in general, you have to be more specific in your in this title. Go to the research variables, please. The next slide. Okay, no, previous one. Yeah. So usually the dependent variable is the main variable you are going to study in your research. So here you are saying the performance of teachers and principals of high school. Okay. If this is the main point of your research, it's okay. But sometimes when I'm reading your paper, I find sometimes you are talking about the style, determining the style, and in other time you are talking about the performance. So my suggestion is to focus, because this is a mini research, focus on one point, one idea. Are you going to explore the leadership style, or you are going to measure the performance of teachers and principals? Because here in the independent variables, you are talking about something different, not leadership style. In independent variables, you are talking about population, size of the school, cultural, philosophy of the principal, objectives. So you are linking now, you're supposed to study the relationship between independent and dependent variable. So here you are talking about the impact of the culture, the context, as you mentioned, the culture, the population, the size, on the performance. So here
No,
I cannot see.
Maybe my point is not clear here. I'm not blaming,
Okay,
but
this is the point.
maybe my point
not
is not clear. These points, population of school, size, and culture, all of these points will affect the leadership style in order to reach the performance of
Okay, Hani, I understand your idea, but my point that it's not clear, as you mentioned. So make it clear. Always remember that the reader will understand the idea from the lines and from the words, not from your present. There is no presentation when someone else will read the paper. So make sure these are very important parts, that like the variables, the hypotheses, the objectives. So they must be specific and clear enough. Okay, just because we don't have time. Okay. Objectives, please, slide number 7. Excuse me to say, these are not objectives. If you can see here, you are talking about something related to the methodology. You are talking about methods, not objectives. So the study compares and contrasts information from previous study. In addition of that, the analysis of collected data from questionnaire and semester. These are not objectives. You know, the objectives will tell us at the end of the research what you are aiming to reach, the final result, not what you are intending to do or to perform, or to how you are going to apply the research, the data collection and analysis. This is methodology. Okay. For the structure, please review the structure of your research. At least in the presentation, you put the methodology, and then you put the literature review. So the literature review should be before the methodology. Okay. All right. In slide number 13, you have to tell us, how did you determine the factors? You already mentioned some factors. You have to tell us, how did you determine these factors? Because these factors are supposed to be used in your research as the parameters, or the factors will in the study, in the variables, to test the hypothesis. So you have to tell us the source and the impact. Again, I'm not sure if you did any data collection and analysis. The last slide, please.
Yes, this is the last slide.
Yeah, you are giving conclusion. So this conclusion from where? You are talking that you're saying that a democratic or transformational leadership style keen to have positive impact on the performance of teachers, transactional, also positive impact the performance of teacher if done correctly. However, an autocratic or laissez-faire leadership style keen to have negative impacts. How did you know that?
It is from the comparison between literature review or previous studies.
Okay. So this is supposed to be only a part of literature review, just to find the research gap. And I understand this as a conclusion. I thought you have done something, some data analysis, and you find some results. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you so much, Hani.
You're welcome.
Okay. I have nothing but to repeat what I said for the first paper. This is not a paper. This is some sort of a proposal. We need to be very specific when we talk about the components. Which one is the dependent and independent? In your case, you have to specify it, and you have to mention it in your hypothesis, in your objectives, and so on. Also, you have to apply or to do some field, because you are dealing with high school students or high school teachers. You have to do some very small questionnaire. Let us say 10 or 15, just to show us that you can do the analysis after that and follow the research one. For the literature review, we need to see something done according to ABA style, and then you specify the gap. Now I will ask you specifically, please, but from today, and I'll ask everybody actually, give me one master thesis or doctorate thesis, previous one, that is near to your line of study, and send it to me on the group. I want, because this will be a guide for you. So either doctorate degree thesis or masters. Find one in each topic so that we can take it as our guide when we do the research. We give you general ideas, we give you, but the sequence and the step by step. It's good to see some other researches done under big universities so that we follow. Okay, the next one, and it will be the last one, I think, because they all of them are on the same track. So the last one in 10 minutes maximum, and we will see how it goes. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Dihani. Of course, you have to hear our recordings, make a list of what you have asked, and start by doing the first paper, send it to us. The second, send it to us. And as I said before that, send us a thesis ready-made, approved under one of the good universities, to make sure that we have some guide to you. Thank you. Go ahead. Next one.
Inshallah. Yes, this is the third topic. It is related to the coordination and cooperation between different sectors in state in order to reduce the expenditure in Ministry of Education. And the title is The Significance of Cooperation and Coordination between State Sectors in Reducing Expenditure in Ministry of Education. The abstract. This.
Hani, let us see the title. Go to the title, please. Go to the title. Back
Yes.
to the title. This is an extremely vague vague title. What on earth are you doing? How can you control the effect of coordination on all expenditures of the Ministry of Higher Education? It's I don't know if you can have a grip on this. And then don't use the state. You are governmental we do not use the Jordanian. We do not call it state. We call it kingdom, or we call it government sectors. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Okay. This study investigates research, so it explores the crucial role of cooperation and coordination between various state sectors in reducing expenditure within the Ministry of Education in Jordan. Through qualitative analysis, including interviews, document analysis, and literature review, the study examines the potential benefits of challenges associated with intersectoral cooperation in achieving cost saving while maintaining educational quality and sustainability. The keywords of cooperation, coordination, state factors, and expenditure, Ministry of Education in Jordan. The research problem is that the Ministry of Education in Jordan is one of the key government entities responsible for achieving sustainable education development and providing high quality education to its citizens. However, there are various challenges facing the ministry in balancing the delivery of excellent education while achieving cost reduction. Most countries nowadays heading towards reducing cost and maintains the quality at the same time. In this regard, there is a need to reduce cost via different ways. One of these ways is by cooperation and coordination between different sectors of the state. The research questions: what is the role of cooperation and coordination between state sectors in achieving cost reduction within the Ministry of Education in Jordan? And what are the potential benefits of cooperative efforts between the ministry and other sectors in achieving financial efficiency and improving educational quality? What are the anticipated challenges that the coordination and cooperation process between different sectors may encounter? How can these challenges be overcome? Are there successful practical examples of intersectoral cooperation in the field of education from other countries that can provide valuable lessons for the Ministry of Education in Jordan? What are the recommendations and actions that can be taken to enhance the process of cooperation and coordination between state sectors and achieve tangible improvement in expenditure and educational quality within the Ministry of Education in Jordan? Study variables. Dependent variable: the cost in the Education Ministry in Jordan, the cost in Education Ministry in Jordan. Independent variable: cooperation and coordination among different sectors of state, good communication channels between all sectors, establish working groups among sectors, develop comprehensive internal strategy that outline common goals and resource sharing mechanisms, implement regular internal meetings and workshops, designate a licensed officer who are responsible for coordinating, cooperating. Create incentives for successful cooperating. The study hypothesis: cooperation and coordination among different sectors of the state decrease the cost in Ministry of Education. Good communication channel between all sectors have a positive role in decreasing cost. Establishing work groups among different sectors will increase the cost in the Ministry of Education. Developing comprehensive internal strategy that outline common goals and resource sharing mechanisms is a crucial factor that deal positively in decreasing cost. Implementing regular internal meetings and workshops contributes in enhancing education and decreasing cost. Designating a liaison officer responsible for collaborating is important for decreasing cost. Creating incentives for successful cooperation encourage workers to decrease cost. And the study objectives, the main objective of the study is to reach a specific point that help in decreasing cost in Ministry of Education. Studying different resources to find out positive factors that contribute in decreasing cost in Ministry of Education. The study is going to suggest some tips that will contribute in decreasing cost. The importance of the study, while all countries have strategies to decrease the cost, the current study comes to support this goal in Jordan. This kind of studies is very important to develop economy in the country. The study deals with two important sensitive fields, which are education and economic field. Education stands as an instrumental catalyst for societal advancement and economic progress, positing in the Ministry of Education as a cornerstone in Jordan's development journey. I will add the literature review that examines case studies from diverse countries, provides a rich tapestry of exemplar illuminating the transformative potential of cooperation in education development. As example of this can be found in the article by Chan, AB 2001, Time Cost Relation of Public Sector Projects in Malaysia. Another study talks about the College of Coordination in Central Government Organization, the Norwin case by Christine T. and Ledger B. 2008. These cases underscore the substantial positive outcome that emerged. The educational stakeholders pool their expertise, resources, and efforts. Such successes underscore the capacity of intersectoral cooperation to address systemic challenges, foster innovation, and generate outcomes that attend beyond individual silos. This appeared strongly in the article by Christine T. and 2008, when they wrote a stronger trend towards internationalization and regionalization combined with strong local government has increased the coordination challenges related to issues that are dealt with at multiple levels of government. The methodology, the research methodology used in the study relies on comprehensive review of existing literature as the primary means of the investigation. This literature review approach is chosen to gain a deep understanding of the significance of cooperation and coordination in reducing expenditure within Jordan's Ministry of Education. What is literature? This literature review, I mean the previous studies and literature review. The core of this methodology involves an extensive exploration and analysis of scholarly literature, including academic books, research articles, and relevant publications. By immersing into the existing body of knowledge, this approach seeks to distill valuable insights, trends, and findings pertaining to internal cooperation and its impact on cost reduction and educational enhancement. The recommendations will come to enhance cooperation, coordination between state sectors and achieve tangible improvement. The following recommendations can be considered. Establish cross-sectoral working groups to identify synergies and areas of collaborations. Develop comprehensive intersectoral strategy that outline common goals and resource sharing mechanisms. Implement regular intersectoral meetings and workshops to foster communications and mutual understanding. Designate a liaison officer responsible for coordinating collaborations, efforts, and resolving conflicts. Invest the capacity building and professional development programs to enhance cross-sectoral competencies. Create incentive for the successful cooperative initiative, such as recognizing and celebrating joint achievements. That's all about topic 3, sir.
Okay, Mahani. Professor Assam, what do you think?
First of all the last comments regarding to topic 1 and topic 2 are applied in this. Now let us go to the title. What the slide of the title? The slide of the title, This is a huge or a big title, needs a huge effort, a huge time, a huge cost to be realized. So I suggest to be about one ministry, not all the governmental sectors. Second, in the title you are speaking about reducing expenditure, while within the study you are speaking about cost reduction. They are not the same. So you must unify the words you choose. I suggest that it's better to use cost reduction. Okay? Do you hear me?
I'm hearing you, but I think that the expenditure and the cost are the same. This is what I thought. Because the masrufat and the cost
not the same.
They are the same.
No, not the same. You are speaking with a professor of accounting. There are similarity and differences between them. So I suggest you to choose cost reduction, not expenditure. So expenditure can be operational expenditure and capital expenditure, while cost is different, is concentrated only operational expenditure. This is what are you mean.
So why not to call it operational
the next
expenditure?
It could be best, but not expenditure. It is cost.
Okay. No. Let us
Could be
reach a conclusion on this.
He can use cost or operational expenditure. One of them gives the same.
Okay.
Second slide. Go to the next slide. Abstract need to be organized. Okay, reorganized. Next slide. Research problem. Here you mentioned, besides cost reduction, quality. Maintain the quality at the same time.
Okay.
Your title, there is nothing about quality. So you need to define what are you going to do? Cost reduction or quality or both?
Yes.
Okay, next. Research questions. No, it is you need to be organized and to put them. I don't want 11 questions. I need 3 questions. Could be applied with hypothesis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. There are more enough questions and must be reorganized, these questions. And all these questions, as you said here, must be related to the title, the sector you will choose. Next. Variables, these are not variables. You need to define variables that can be measured. In order to say a variable, the variable should be able to be measured. How can you measure the establishment of working groups, development, comprehensive internal strategy? So you need to be more specific in your variables. Dependent variable, the cost. The cost in where? The cost where? Annie, answer me, the cost where?
The cost
And the dependent variable.
Okay.
Please read it.
The cost in Education Ministry in Jordan, it is the cost.
Does your title speaks about Education Ministry or about all sectors?
I'm talking about the cooperation between other sectors in order to reduce the cost in education ministry.
No, your title is not this. Your title about all governmental sectors in general, not about education. So you must define what are you want to do. What are you going to do? Ministry of Education or all government? Next. Next. Hypothesis need to be reformed in a statistical form. Objectives. The main objective is to reach a specific point. The help in decreasing. This is not an objective. So your objectives must be reformed. The study is going to suggest some tips. To just suggest something is not an objective. Study different resources to find out positive factor. It's not an issue. Next. Study importance must be in points, not a comprehensive article. It must be in points 1, 2, 3, 4. Next. Literature review. You present us a lot of literature review, but no one speaks about Jordan. No one. I didn't see any article about Jordan. So we need to see something about Jordan. Literature review about the United States, Germany, or French are not relative to Jordan. We need something. Okay, we need about the world, but also we need about Jordan. Okay, Hani?
Yes, Doctor.
Next. Research methodology. I speak about the methodology in me past comments. Go ahead. What is the literature review approach? We don't need to present this. We know what is literature review approach. So I don't know what are the contribution of this slide. Go away. Recommendation without data collection or without reviewing articles and literature review about Jordan. I don't know how you can get recommendations. So you need to make a data collection and then to get conclusions, and after conclusions to get recommendation. Thank you.
Welcome, Doctor. Thank you.
Dr. Zahar.
Dr. Ismail.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Zaid. Thank you so much, Professor Assam. Hani, I think Professor Assam mentioned, give you comments in many details, actually. I don't have more than, I think I noticed only two small things in the methodology. Something confusing here. You are in your methodology. You said you are using literature review approach. Okay. So, and you explain something about how it's okay if you are going to use the literature review, but I cannot find any reference for your methodology. Professor Assam told you about the literature review, but now here also in the methodology, I don't know what is your reference on this methodology. From where did you know about literature review approach or this methodology? You have to tell us what's your reference you are following to apply this methodology. And only another one comment. Go to the objectives, please.
The third one.
Yeah, here. The main objective of the study is to reach a specific point, the help in decreasing cost in Ministry of Education. I think this need to be more clear and more specific as a research objective. Okay, so maybe this is an objective for the ministry itself to reach a point, or it's too general. Make it specific, and please differentiate between general objectives or ministry objectives and research objectives. So at the end of the research, you have to reach your objectives. Okay, so a specific point, help to decrease the cost, this is another another issue totally. All right, I don't want to take a lot of time. That's all from my side. I'm done. Professor Zaid, thank you, Hani.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Go to the title, Hani. Title. Okay, again, whenever I see a research, I start from the title, then we go along, because the title is the executive summary of the research itself. So when you say the significance of cooperation and coordination, coordination usually we use this term when we talk about institutions. So why not to have coordination, and that's it. Collaboration, okay. If you mean some of the coordination processes, so use the coordination. Significance, how would you measure the significance? This is if the output of your research succeeded to introduce a model to reduce the expenses, do you think this would be a significant achievement? So significance is something related to the output of your research, which is how to reduce the expenditures or the costs, the running costs, the operational costs, and the Ministry of Education. So you have to identify, to tell us how would you consider what is the exact meaning of significance? How do you define this as a result? So again, what is your dependent variable? Dependent variable is the expenditure, the reducing the cost, and the independent will be the coordination. Okay, that's it. Okay. Go to the dependent. The cost is okay. The rest is independent. Go to the hypothesis. I did not mention anything about them in the last time. So let me talk about one moment. These are not hypotheses. These are assumptions. These are boundaries of research. Hypothesis is something that would relate the independent to the dependent, full stop, and make it in two stages, two phases. The first one is the null hypothesis, H0. You would say there is no significant relationship between the coordination and the reduction of cost. And then you go for another one. No, there is a relation. And according to your independent variables, you put it one by one against the dependent variable. Statistically, we use alpha as a measure of significance. If it is above 0.05 or below 0.05, this is a statistical exercise. Then from hypothesis, you go and for the literature review on the parameters that you've done. I'm with Professor Isam. You should, because you talk about Jordan, dig for Jordan. You have at least you have maybe 100, 200 master thesis talking about this collaboration, cooperation, coordination between the different parties to introduce the best cost reduction. Maybe introduce something else, performance, whatever. But this is something that we need to follow and to use. One moment. Now, when we say, okay, one question. When you say state sectors, governmental sectors, can you mention, can you give me 2 or 3 of them, please, quickly? What are the state sectors that you are talking about?
I'm trying to talk about the other ministries. Maybe the Ministry of Labor. When they coordinate and cooperate with the Ministry of Education.
Ministry of what?
Labor.
Okay, this is Ministry of Education. Is look, the confusing element here when you say sectors. Sectors, there are 5 sectors in any development planning. We have economic sector, we have social sector, we have governmental sector, or leave it, political sector, and we have educational one, and we have the productive one. So when you say sectors, it does not mean ministries, because one sector when you talk about economic sector, it could go for the Ministry of Investment, Ministry of Economic, Ministry of Digital Economy, Ministry. So when you talk about sectors, again, this means that you are dealing with more than one. You could see in one sector 5 ministries. So are you with the ministries or with the sectors? What do you mean in here?
What I thought about that, the Ministry of Labor is under the economic sector. So this sector may, with the educational sector, may cooperate and coordinate with each other in order to reduce.
No, this is not my question. When you say state sectors, you have to be careful. There are only 5 sectors, but they include 20 ministries. Are you talking about ministries or sectors?
Okay. I'm talking about sectors and ministries, because ministries are under.
When you talk about sectors, when you talk about, let us say that you were talking about economic sector, the relationship between economic and educational. It's
Yes.
a very huge. Very huge. You can unjudgmental. You cannot judge on these. You cannot reach a conclusion at the end of the day. So, let us say that you want to talk about the collaboration between education ministry, because you mentioned the education, and let us say the economic ministry, or the labor and work ministry. So specify where do you want the cooperation to be, and this does not come unless you know the objective of your research. What is the nearest, which ministry is the nearest ministry to my objective? Then you pick that ministry and you put it in your title. So it's a reverse engineering, reverse feedback to that. So again, the title, significance of coordination between X ministry and the Ministry of Higher Education, or X sector, if you want to be very general, and reducing cost in the Ministry of. Okay, there is another way to make the title more happy, more optimization of coordination between different states and enhance the reduction of cost in the Ministry of Education. All of these are proposals. At the end of the day, again, in our hand is a proposal.
For example,
sorry? Some?
For example, you can take the Ministry of, for example, I say, you can take the Ministry of Health. How to reduce the lowest cost in Ministry of Health? There are normally in everywhere there is a lowest cost in the Ministry of Health.
Yes.
So we can take this issue as a title. It's just a suggestion, not no more.
Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, by this I think we conclude our session with the Hani Khbilat, and we will take a rest of 10 minutes, then we'll move with Khaldun. Thank you, Hani. As we said, introduce, whenever you complete a paper, put it to final research, mini research on the group, and then we will be very responsive to finalize it. Thank you, Professor Isam. Thank you, Dr. Ismail. And we'll take a reset for the coming 10 minutes.
Thank you, dear Professor, for these valuable recommendations, and I will take them in my consideration.
Thank you.
You are welcome, Hani. Thank you so much.
واقف؟ Thank you.